Okay, she be gone every single night. Then I don't mind pushing you to vibe.
How's it going, everybody? This is Tom Drabo. Hope you're having another great day. A little later in the day than usual. However, I promised you I would get this out. Either way, though, I welcome you back to another video. So recently, the NCAA Tournament wrapped up, and Kansas ended up winning their 4th national championship and their 2nd under head coach Bill Self. So big congratulations to them. Unfortunately, this means we didn't get to see Mike Krzyzewski go out with one more national title. But, however, there was another story that happened in the tournament that got the hearts of everybody in America. Ladies and gentlemen, the St. Peter's Peacocks from St. Peter's University from right here in New Jersey, from Jersey City. This was a team that had a breakout tournament, and boy, it captured the hearts of many Americans that watched them, and they were such a feel-good story throughout this entire tournament. And really, this is a story that's going to continue to be talked about for quite some time in the next few years. And so I thought I'd share with you a little bit about their run and my thoughts on their spectacular journey in the 2022 NCAA Tournament. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about their improbable run, how they managed to make it all the way to the Elite Eight. I'll talk a little bit about their head coach, a little bit about some of the star players from this run, and why I think this St. Peter's team will go down in history as perhaps one of the greatest Cinderella runs in NCAA tournament history. So as I've mentioned already, St. Peter's is right here in New Jersey. They are actually literally right next to Newark, which is the city that I work at. In Jersey City, that's where St. Peter's University is stationed at, and it's actually a private school, which occupies a few thousand students there. Now, they are from the MAAC conference, which is not a conference that you usually normally hear when you talk about NCAA sports. You know, you would be talking about the SEC, the ACC, Big 10, Big 12, and the Pac-12, those major conferences. The MAAC is not a major conference, and St. Peter's was actually very lucky to even make it to the tournament. I don't remember if they actually won their conference tournament or not, but they were able to get into the NCAA tournament through the 15th seed. Now, usually history would say that the 15th seed would go out right away in the NCAA tournament, but if you remember the year before, Oral Roberts managed to pull off a magical run to make it all the way to the Sweet 16. So if there was any 15 seed that would be able to try to duplicate that magic, it would be St. Peter's. And boy, they did just that. Starting out in the round of 64, St. Peter's was able to pull off a huge upset against John Calipari and the Kentucky Wildcats. And it was actually a very close one all the way, but they were able to pull out all the stops with their defense and hold them off for what would be really the upset of the round of 64. And in my opinion, the upset of the tournament. It is very hard to beat Kentucky, particularly with a team that is coached by John Calipari. The Kentucky Wildcats were probably one of the best collegiate basketball teams there are in the country. So if you beat them, particularly in the NCAA tournament, then you really made something happen, and St. Peter's found a way to do just that. After that, they would go on to face off against Murray State, which was also another competitive fight. However, it was a little bit more manageable than Kentucky. They were able to find a way to pull off the victory, and that way they were able to head out to the Sweet 16, which made them only the 3rd 15th seed in NCAA tournament history to ever make it that far into the tournament. And that's really not saying much, considering that Oral Roberts did that a year ago. And if you thought their run would end there, no, it did not. Once again, their defense was able to come through, and their offense in particular, they were able to pull out all the stops to make an incredible run against Purdue. They were able to come away with yet another upset to end up becoming the very first 15 seed to ever make the Elite Eight. And that is a history maker there that really captured a whole lot of hearts around the country. And really, that goes to tell you about how special this St. Peter's run was. It was definitely special. So you would think that, considering all of that, they would be able to pull out what would be a Cinderella run all the way to the Final Four, right? Well, they had to go off against North Carolina first, and unfortunately, that was really where the magic all stopped. They couldn't really get anything going against the Tar Heels all day, and unfortunately, they ended up bowing out in the Elite Eight against North Carolina Tar Heels, who, by the way, Kansas beat in the national championship game, and was also the team responsible for ending Mike Krzyzewski's career in the Final Four. So obviously, it was tough to see it end that way, but still, it capped off what was an incredible run for the ages. Considering that this was a very small school in Jersey City, the St. Peter's Peacocks pulled off what was probably one of the greatest Cinderella runs that we have ever seen. The fact that they were able to beat 2 competitive teams in Kentucky and Purdue, and also came out with a close one against Murray State, but make it all the way to the Elite 8 as a 15 seed. That is very hard to overcome. I mean, obviously, there have been a couple times, particularly last year as well, where a team made it all the way through the first 4 to make it all the way to the championship 4. And that's really a lot tougher than making it out of the round of 64. But still, St. Peter's, they were a team that was not expected to even get out of the round of 64. But the fact that they did and pulled off something like this, it goes to show you how incredible this run was. There are a lot of people that have been talking about this, and they've become one of the most beloved basketball schools in the entire country. And so what they do next season, it really is anyone's guess, but this is a run that everybody will be talking about for such a long time. Now, the man that led the way for St. Peter's was Shaheen Holloway. Now, he had came in as the head coach for his team just 4 years ago, actually, when the team was really on the downswing. There wasn't really much good that was happening with the Peacocks, and there was even a story that, you know, the St. Peter's gym was actually full of rats, which obviously meant that there were a lot of problems that were going on with their basketball program, nonetheless their athletic program as a whole. But you gotta remember, Shaheen Holloway has been in this situation before as a player. A few years ago, the very last time a New Jersey school made it all the way to the Sweet 16, you gotta go all the way back to 2002 when Seton Hall made it at that time. And one of those players on that squad was Shaheen Holloway. He was one of those guys that helped lead the Seton Hall Pirates all the way to the Sweet 16. So he is very familiar with the spotlight that comes in the NCAA tournament. And so he knew exactly what he was up against. But this head coach was absolutely amazing. Not only did he keep calm under pressure, but he was able to find a way to help lead his team all the way to the Elite 8 with all the experience that he was able to get as a player 2 decades ago at this time. And it was just amazing to see. Shaheen Holloway ended up becoming a hot commodity as a head coach as a result. And his bravery to be able to lead this team all the way to the Elite 8 has to be commended. It was probably one of the greatest runs I think I've ever seen a New Jersey school have. And to cap it all off as well, Shaheen Holloway, speaking of Seton Hall, he ended up landing the job as the newest head coach of the Seton Hall Pirates, his alma mater, starting this upcoming season. And really, it just goes to show you how hard he was able to get that job based on all the hard work that he was able to do to lead St. to the Elite 8. And I know it sucks that we're not going to see him in St. Peter's anymore, but hey, he worked hard for a role like this. He deserves this opportunity to coach a Big East school like Seton Hall. And next to those schools I just mentioned, the Big East is really that basketball conference afterwards. And so now the challenge is to become a championship winning head coach. And Seton Hall, although they've had a few runs, they have struggled in recent years to be able to make it very far in the NCAA tournament. So Shaheen Holloway now, his goal is to find a way to win basketball games and help Seton Hall become a national championship contender. And if what we saw in the NCAA tournament this year was any indication, I have no doubt in my mind that Shaheen Holloway is going to have a lot of success with Seton Hall. And there was also a star player that helped lead the St. Peter's Peacocks all the way to the Elite 8, and that was Doug Eder, who was a senior that actually came out of Nutley, which was his team that I played a few times in football when I was in high school. But this was a star player that really came out of nowhere. He ended up becoming a social media buzz as a result of his performances in the NCAA tournament. I mean, he was known for his three-pointers, but he contributed everywhere on offense and defense. As a result, he was recognized as one of the elite players of his division. In fact, he would end up a part of the first team for the East Division for the NCAA tournament, which is really something for a team that came from a conference that's not well known. But Doug Eder really was a superstar, not just for his playing, but also for his personality as well. Doug Eder was widely known for his mustache, and obviously he said that he was only going to keep it temporarily, but because of his incredible performance in the NCAA tournament, he has decided that he is going to keep it now because he thinks that it gives him magical superpowers. Well, it definitely proved to be a superpower for him in the NCAA tournament. But also, another ridiculous thing about him is his diet and really what he eats. In fact, he said in an interview once that the only thing that he even eats is chicken and a whole lot of fries and a whole lot of other stuff as well. You know, a whole lot of meat, particularly in feast mode as well. How someone is able to perform at an elite level that he did when he eats all of that stuff in one sitting, it really just goes to show you that he does a lot of work at the gym and also, you know, in the fitness room as well to be able to maintain the weight that he is and to be able to compete the way he did in the NCAA tournament, which is really something special. In fact, the funniest thing about this whole thing is that he said he has never eaten a sandwich at all. That is pretty shocked. I mean, really, everybody has had to have at least one sandwich in their life because it's one of the most common foods there is in America. The fact that he said that he has never eaten a sandwich, I mean, I don't know if I really believe him or not, but the fact that he said he has never eaten a sandwich really blows my mind. In fact, it blows a lot of other people's minds too. Anyways, the reason why I bring up Doug Eder is that he, along with a couple other players in St. Peter's, just entered a transfer portal, so I don't know what school he's going to end up at, but really, he's going to be in good hands because he's going to be at a very competitive school probably. There's going to be a lot of them that are going to be trying to seek out Doug Eder to try to bring them along, and really, wherever he goes, I wish him absolutely nothing but the best. I really would like to see him play at Rutgers, or maybe follow Shaheen Holloway at Seton Hall, so that way he can stay in New Jersey because he is a hot commodity in the state of New Jersey as a player, and I have no doubt in my mind that if he stays here or wherever he goes in general, I have a feeling he's going to find a lot of success there. But yeah, in the end, it was a Cinderella run for the ages, and one that will forever go down in the history books. Guys like Shaheen Holloway, Doug Eder, and all the players that represent the St. Peter's Peacocks team this season, they made the state of New Jersey very proud in this NCAA tournament. And to be the very first 15 seed to ever make it to the Elite Eight is something that has to be celebrated. You will never see anything like that again for quite some time. I can tell you right now, it's going to be hard for me to envision St. Peter's having another run like this again, particularly for the fact that they're still a small school and from a small level conference, and the fact that, you know, you have all these other big conferences there. I just think that it's going to be very hard for them to be able to make it back to this level again, unless they find a really much more talented squad than the one that they did here, which I think is going to be very hard to top. So that's why I think it's important that we celebrate the accomplishment that St. Peter's had in this run while we can. It's an incredible story. I just wanted to talk about it just to discuss how much of a Cinderella run this was for the St. Peter's Peacocks, and the fact that they are from right here in the state of New Jersey, which makes this ever more special. I congratulate them on such an incredible run. I wish Shaheen Holloway, Doug Eder, and all the other players that are planning on entering the transfer portal or leaving the school nothing but the best in their foreseeable future. And this St. Peter's team, they are going to be remembered for such a long time. This is a great school, and really, I wish them absolutely nothing but the best as a future. St. Peter's made the state of New Jersey proud in this NCAA tournament. Alright folks, that's going to do it for another video. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when my latest video is released. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, so every new subscriber helps. As always, be sure to comment below for future suggestions for all my videos, whether it's vlogs, projects, or challenges, you name it. Leave it in the comments below and I'll do my best to make them. And as always, follow me on my social media. All the links are in the description below. That's going to do it for another video. Hope you're having another great day. Next video is going to be a life update video next Saturday, so there will not be a midweek video next week, but still stick around for next Saturday. I got a lot of cool content that I got planned for the rest of the spring and into the early part of summer, so stay tuned for that next week. Until then, I hope you're all having another great day, and as always, I hope to see you all in another video very soon. So long, everybody.